Hello and welcome to another episode of Cloud Escape, Escape the Mundane. So, the conversation for today is about critical thinking and effective decision making. From the time we wake up to the time we go to bed, our day is governed by several decisions we make. Some of them are simple, like what to eat, what to wear, and some are complex, like what consignment to approve, which strategy to go ahead with, and how to solve a complex problem. So let us understand what is critical thinking. Critical thinking is a technique that helps us to approach a question by carefully deconstructing the situation and dealing with hidden issues like bias, manipulation, and making the best possible decision. There are various steps involved in the process of critical thinking. The first one is formulating your question. It is important to firstly understand what are the possible solutions to the problem that is in our hand, and looking at and determining what is it that you actually need out of the solution. Second, gather your information. This will help you to understand the areas that need attention. Third, apply the information. Divide the information into concept, assumption, interpretation, then understand if you're being logically sound and if the options are feasible economically and technologically. Fourth, consider the implications of different decisions or outcomes. Understand how each decision shapes the future as well, and not just thinking about the present. Fifth, explore other point of views. This enables you to look into the situation from different perspectives and helps you understand how can you weigh the pros and cons of different solutions and therefore help you in making effective decision. And now to discuss this further, we have with us a German architect, environmentalist and an expert in resource management. He's a passionate volunteer and has extended his support for various environmental groups like Clean Up Bahrain, Bahrain Driving Team. He's also the founder of the initiative called WAISTE, spelled as WAISTE. It is a technology that uses artificial intelligence to monitor and record information about products and materials that are used in the production process. Hello and welcome to the show, Mr. Kai Metig.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good too. So let's get into the conversation. So, as you are an architect and environmentalist, I'm sure you're faced with many challenging situations on a regular basis. So, how do you define critical thinking?
Yeah, critical thinking means actually that you are thinking kind of highlighting problems in order to solve certain issues. Lots of people considering being critical, but I feel it is actually a positive aspect to help to improve a process, a product, a habit, or to solve a problem. So maybe it can be called like constructive critical thinking, which might be more receptive to people, because nevertheless still people don't like to be criticized, as they have mainly a negative intention rather than feeling it helpful when they are criticized.
Exactly. That is a very good definition. So how do you think that critical thinking promotes effective decision making?
Yeah, from my perspective, definitely, because if you use the right way of critical thinking, then you will avoid mistakes which was done in the past, actually. Meaning learning from the past failures and then trying to be more solution focused rather than resistant on criticism, which might be leading to a wrong and ineffective decision, and obviously then leads to wrong action rather to show a proper improvement, so more activity but not improvement. So a lot of humans, they have not really been receptive for critical thinking or critical comments. So, and they should become more open to this one, so they can avoid resistance and become more efficient and effective rather than being inefficient and resisting on solving the critics' or the problem which was criticized.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like since we are all like we all go through situations and challenges there where we want to have like a creative solution. So if we dig deeper into the solutions and understand how can we best solve the problem and put a little thought into it, most of our problems will be solved. So I'm sure in your life you must be having a lot of challenging situations. So do you have an example for us where we can understand better how did you solve a difficult problem using critical thinking?
Yeah, actually, it happened almost on a daily basis in life, specifically during this difficult period of time, where we actually are forced to think more critical and more proactive, positively to solve problems. It will help to avoid excuses and focus more on the solution of a source rather than the negative. But it need to be the counterpart. Obviously, need to be receptive. So as a sample, since I'm an environmentalist and I'm facing a lot of issues when they have the single-use plastic and these things, I'm giving the people the sample. Okay, in June 1969, the people were actually flying to the moon, and even the next days, I think, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you will fly to the Mars. So, which means there is big development happening all around humanity. But still, the people tell me, there is no chance to avoid the plastic containers for food delivery. So it's a little bit very strange that technology sent us to the moon 50 years back and to the Mars in a few days, and we are so resistant, or people are so resistant to do an inconvenient or change, which of course takes some effort. Yeah. But this is happening on a daily basis, that the people need to come out of their convenient area in order to improve. And this obviously facing, once you throw with them to them, they are very resistant and hardly are receptive for this one.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel almost everything has been done, and the easy way out that we choose for ourselves, everybody is doing that. So if you're faced with like difficult problems where you specifically you fight with these challenges like environmental problems, which are on a very large scale, and I think personally we're always looking for solutions that are easy to do or very simple. But to solve bigger problems, we need to involve a lot of critical thinking, because we have to take care of the cost and we have to take care of the exposure. We need to make sure that people voluntarily come out to help, and sometimes it requires way more than what we think. So despite facing all these challenges, do you believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel? Like there is, how will positive thinking influence great change in this world? So how do you think positivity as a concept can help improve this world and put way more good out there?
Yeah, actually, only if you think positive and, let's say, have the positive critical thinking, you will develop something or some ideas will come through, and positive critical thinking will lead actually, or will be the way for opportunities they are born. In the past, we have a lot of things where people were criticized for visionary and positivity and these things in order to change society. And actually, a lot of positive critical thinking processes were leading to big successful changes in the world. I mean, of course, we have a lot of obstacles at the beginning, because people maybe don't have the open mind. They are not in this open, receptive, critical thinking in the positive way, and they are not willing to change, which is obviously the biggest issue at the beginning. But you have so many things which you see, the computer, the smartphones, the electric cars, there was big resistance. And even in the past, when they're developing the light bulbs and whatever humanity brought out to have big changes, it was through critical positive thinking and against the obstacles of the human resistance.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's the vision that counts. Like first you have to have a vision that something is going to turn out and something will happen. It is if everyone starts thinking negative after first or second attempt, we won't have such remarkable discoveries in the world. So it is positivity that and visionary attitude that actually leads to greater change. And one
Yes.
such change which you intend to bring in this world is your initiative called Waste. Can you elaborate more on that? Because I think that's a great initiative, and it's going to be everywhere soon.
Yes, yeah, waste is actually the idea to combine waste and AI. So that's why it's called WAISTE, but still spelling as waste. So it's actually the idea to collect data and information for the whole production process, from the idea where the thinker can already think about the different kind of material, assembly and disassembly and reusability of the product, till the use and the disposal, then the recycling stage at the end, obviously, so that the value of the material is still known throughout the whole cycle of the production. As well with the logistics. So everything need to be actually considered, and all this with the help of AI and of course the blockchain technology. We know that everywhere we have already a barcode. So with this certain information and additional information on the material, on the value of the material itself, then we can have a proper database, and then we can see with technology of AI to evaluate what is the value at the end of a product life of the raw material, how it can be reassembled, reused, recycled. So at least we will avoid in the future a lot of waste which will end up resource material. I call it resource material, which that has value, instead of dumping it in the landfill. So it can be reused. So that's why the idea is called waste, and to use the waste information with artificial intelligence. And definitely it will come in the future, because as we are living now, the kind of new normal, what the people say, it need to be changed. So even before, the old normal was wrong. Now the new normal is not getting really better, because we see a lot of disposal things by the mask or the gloves and sanitizer bottles and whatever. It came as a new wave of waste to be considered as well.
Exactly. It is a brilliant idea, because this year 2020 has actually let us open our eyes towards what the world faces and the problems that we sometimes are putting out there. Like the whole world, we have had so many technologies and everything, and we can't even fight one little virus, and we're all failing against it. So it's important that everyone becomes responsible now. And so where does this responsibility came into you? Like what inspired you to do so much good that you do? What inspires you in this life?
Yeah, see, first of all, I mean, my background, as you know, is I grew up and was educated in Germany, and we had since ever, I'm alive actually, the idea of waste management and recycling. And on the other hand, you see about the education, which is obviously the key, that you go somewhere where it's clean and you leave it clean as well. Exactly. Of course, you create a mess in between whenever you go to the playground or whatever you do, but you leave the place as you receive it. And this is actually one key factor which unfortunately a lot of people are not inherent in their habits. And that's why education and raising a society with more and more environmental awareness and more awareness of how you are responsible for what you are creating. A lot of people say, oh, we need to have more waste bins. No, because the people itself, they bring, let's say, the stuff to the beach, they bring the stuff to a parking lot, to the mall. Okay, and you can still carry this little weight back home where you brought it from. So it's actually a very simple task of a human being, but very much neglected, unfortunately, by irresponsibility, carelessness, and even not thinking about the future generation, which I'm very embarrassed when I see parents throwing stuff and these things, which is very disgusting, unfortunately.
Yeah, all of this will come back. Like the implications of the good you put out there and the implications of bad you put out there, it is karma actually. It will come back to you, and it will have devastating effects in this world. And we are very glad that we had you to